everybody, it's Kelly and I'm back with another layout again today. I'll be scrapbooking this photo of my stepson and my oldest grandson. This photo is from 2016 from his younger brother's newborn photo shoot, and he just turned 2 a couple of weeks ago. So it's time to get my 2016 scrapbooks put to bed. So I'm working really hard to get anything that I have left to scrapbook from that done. I don't scrapbook chronologically, but at some point I want to put the layouts to bed, and I do that. So I have chosen that chevron paper to be kind of like my main background paper. That's from the Dear Lizzie Serendipity 12x12 paper pad. And then I wanted to do something to give this a border, so I chose that navy colored floral, and that is also from the Serendipity 12x12 paper pad. So I'm going to take that, and this layout is the second layout I did for my second kit that I made for the Chamel's Clear the Dust class. I took that, by the time you hear this, it will be a couple of months ago. It was a fabulous class. If you are at all interested, I learned a ton about how to put kits together from my own stash. I don't subscribe to any kit clubs. I certainly buy enough product, but it was a great class about how to use up your supplies, and I learned just a ton from it. So I would highly recommend it. You can go to chamel.com and look that class up, and then you'll be able to take it. So I now have my background put together, and I'm kind of looking about how to put that. If I had put it so the chevron was on the other side and the photo was, I want the photo over the chevron, my stepson would be pointing off the page basically, and he's very dominant because he's the taller of the two in this photo, and so I actually moved it to the other side. So now I want to use this marble paper as mat for this photo, but because I'm working with a kit, I don't have tons and tons of paper, and I think that this marble paper might make a good mat for another layout. I'm kind of thinking it might. I don't have a layout in mind. So what I did is I just cut that mat for this particular photo right from the center of that, and that way if I do another layout with that marble paper and use it to mat something, you'll never even know that it's gone. You know, so often I got the center of papers. In this case, I just took a mat out from the center of the paper. That aqua marbleized paper, that's the photo mat, is again from the Dear Lizzie Serendipity 12x12 paper pad. I also had that word today there, and that is a wood veneer from a Studio Calico collection that is ages old. I don't remember because I didn't save the name of it. It was the only wood veneer piece I had left. It's been sitting on a little tray next to my desk for more than a month, and I decided that I was going to finish that up. Because this class is all about using up your stash, I'm attacking things really, and that's what it feels like, is I'm really attacking things. So while I was talking there, I added the word shine right above the title, so now it reads Shine Today, and that is from the Dear Lizzie Serendipity accent and phrase stickers. That's where that came from. That camera that I just put up at the top left is also from the Dear Lizzie accent and phrase stickers. And then I added that smile, that word smile, and that is a cut apart from one of the papers from the 12x12 Serendipity paper pad. So now I grab this camera and I cut it out from a larger piece, again from that same camera cut apart. And I'm going to kind of play around. I like it at the top, but I'm not sure about it because it's kind of blending in for me up there. I like the aqua color. I can ink the edges to help, but it still is blending in too much. So I'm looking at using this round die cut, and that Constellation die cut is from the Dear Lizzie Serendipity die cuts. I'm not liking how it's laying there because I don't like the reveal of the small piece on the bottom there, but I can fix that by cutting it apart. So now I'm looking for more things to help that camera stand apart, and I grabbed that little Dear Lizzie cut apart piece that says me and you. And that is just a die cut from a collection that I don't know what that's actually from. I keep some of my die cuts when I've used most of them up just in a package that's all Dear Lizzie die cuts. So that's what that's from. Then I also grabbed that little dog piece that said life is better. It says life is better with you. And that again is from a Dear Lizzie collection. It was a sticker book, but when they manufactured it, they didn't put any sticker backing on it. So it became like a cut apart book, but that's what it was originally, was a sticker book. That happened years ago. I ordered that from 2Ps. That's how old that piece is. Yeek. It's time to be working on getting rid of some of those pieces. All right, so now I'm thinking maybe that die cut needs to go right there, and look at how that kind of pops that camera off and that cluster off. But I also liked it up at the top. So I'm going to need to figure that out. And I haven't glued the photo down yet because I was still working with my embellishment clusters and I wasn't quite sure where I wanted those to go. And the fact that I didn't get that, haven't glued that photo down is going to become a little bit of a problem as things shift as I try to work with them. I am inking everything with my Memento Dewdrop ink here. And I just put that camera down because it's going to help me get things figured out here. And then I put that little sticker down and I look at that and I'm like, you know, I can cut this constellation die cut in half, and if I do that, then I can add it into both clusters. So I'll have that navy represented in both clusters, but I will also have a really good grounding element for that cluster on the right side there. And I guess my title is Shine Today. It's going to be Shine Today. And, you know, that in itself is also a cluster too, but just a really small one. And in my clusters, I have some elements that have things in common. I'm certainly not using, like, just because I have a camera in one, I didn't feel like I had to have a camera in the other. It's just that was the right piece. You know, I have a couple of aqua elements in both of them. I don't have any pink in the cluster at the top right of the photo, but I do have a big pink element in the other one. It's just the way it worked out. I did look for some pink for this, but I didn't find the right thing. And I was tired of looking, so I just stopped. Sometimes you have to just glue things down. So now I'm getting ready to put the photo down, but I need to get this cluster figured out a little bit more before I can do that. So I'm gluing things to the photo before I glue anything else down. And I am going to add a little bit of dimension to that top cluster because I've got dimension, or the top right cluster, I've got dimension in the title with the wood veneer. So that's why I'm doing that. All right. So now I have that done, and I can get my photo glued down. And I also kind of measured like that Shine Today, making sure that the today wasn't going to come too far across the title, or across the page, I should say. And these, like that shine sticker is not very sticky. So I'm going to have to add glue to it. It was sticking to the sheet just fine, but then when you take it off, it barely sticks at all. All right, so I'm lifting that up to kind of get it to snuggle in there between the T and the D. And I really like the way that looks. Now you'll notice I have one wood element on here, which is fine, but it's sticking out like a sore thumb because there is no other wood on this layout. So I'm going to go look for some wood now. And so the title is Shine here. And I know I have some wood veneer stars, so I'm going to go into my little wood veneer star stash. And these are all from Freckled Fawn, and I'm going to add them into the clusters. So I'm going to add 3 in each of the larger clusters, and then I'm just going to add 1 to that title cluster just because there already is a lot of wood there, but I don't want it to not have a star because the stars are so prevalent at the top of the page. It would have looked funny if I didn't have any at all. So now I've grabbed my micro glue dots. They're really, really tiny, so they're really good for things like this, and I'm adding them to the back of the wood veneer stars. And then I'm just scattering those wood veneer stars in the clusters themselves. So that'll take me just a minute. I'm loving how this turned out. You know, there's pink in this. Obviously, there's pretty prominent pink stripes in here in the camera, but it definitely is a masculine layout. Just adds a softness. I love the watercolor chevron here. I love this piece of paper. It's one of my favorites from that collection, so I'm glad I was able to really feature it. So I'm just going to add the date here. There is a still shot coming up and a couple of detail shots. Hope you're all well, and I'll be back with another layout again soon. Bye!